Hey everybody, big welcome back and big welcome for the first time if you've never been here before. My name's Mike and this is my little hobby, basically a channel highlighting all my little hobbies I've got in life, which I have many. Today's hobby is driving around in my recently acquired, new to me, 2015 Polaris RZR 900s, which makes it the 60-inch model. And I'm just kind of showing you from the outside what it looks like here, so when we get to the onboard, you know what we're cruising around in. Basically, I just picked this thing up, and I'm only going to shoot the shit with you guys for a little bit. Just want to cut in and let you know that. Eventually, I'm going to shut up and just let you watch the video, but if you like commentary, this is my commentary video. Anyway, so like I said, I just recently picked this thing up. I bought it for $4,800 Canadian with a engine knock, which ended up being rod knock. So it needed an engine rebuild. I ended up getting a mechanic to rebuild the entire engine, so we did new crank, new bearings, new pistons, ring, timing chain, all that. Anyway, got all that going. I got the engine back from the mechanic and put it in the machine, and I've got a bunch of videos on this already, or a couple, and ultimately it wouldn't start. It just kept backfiring, if anything at all, and then I ended up blowing up the air intake box. Tried messaging back and forth with the fellow, and eventually he just blocked me. Ended up watching YouTube and learning what happened was he had put the cams in reverse, the intake and exhaust. They're actually stamped. So he timed the engine with the cams in the wrong position. Not in the wrong position, like in the wrong orientation, exhaust and intake. So once I swapped those out, retimed it, fired right up, and I was excited. So now I've actually had this out several times on little tiny mini runs. I took it to a quarry, took it around the block kind of thing. Seems like it's been running good and everything like that. So this was our first time actually getting out and really doing some off-roading. Speaking of off-roading, I'll tell you that we are at a place called Quad Niagara ATV Club, which I do not have a membership for, so I was trespassing this day. But before you get mad at me, let me explain, was that I decided I was going to do one of two things. I was going to come here and try the trail. If I didn't like it, just pay them for the day pass. They offer a day pass on their website, Quad Niagara. Anyway, you just Google that and you'll get to their website. This runs from Port Colborne up to Welland, or give or take somewhere in there. Anyway, so my plan was try it out. If I wasn't overly satisfied, pay them the $30 for the day. I used the pass, or the trails for for a few hours. I think you're supposed to pay for the pass first. I know a lot of people do not, because I was on Facebook talking about it. There's a bunch of people that say, oh, just send it, go in and don't pay them anything. So I decided I was going to try it and either pay for a day pass, or if I liked it, I would pay for the year. It's $150 for the year, which also gives you access to the trails up north, so with the other ATV clubs, so it's all like under one umbrella or whatever. I've heard from several people that said it's boring, there's nothing to do out here, and it's basically just flat terrain. And I had a great time. It's winter time, so we're going a lot faster than you normally would be in the summer. If this was all full of mud and ruts and everything like that, it would be a different ride. So even with it being winter, I had a good time. They are actually going to get the $150 from me. I went to buy the pass, and the website wouldn't work, so then I went on their Facebook and I saw they actually have a message up that their website was down. So whenever I check back and the website is up and running, I will gladly pay them the $150 for the pass. And I realize online a lot of people say that there's no enforcement. It's not like there's a sheriff standing on the side and inspecting your pass. But I don't mind chipping in to help out the club. I've been following them for, a year or two on Facebook, and I see they do a bunch of like group rides and barbecues and dinners and meetups and all that. Looks like a good time. I don't mind supporting the group. I just wanted to make sure whether it was going to be worth it or not. I've never been into these trails. I have actually been along a small portion along the old Welland Canal previously, back years ago, on a Kazuma dirt bike. Actually, I have a video on it, probably 15 years ago or something, maybe 12 years ago. where I just happened to be out riding my dirt bike and ended up in and along the Welland Canal there. But I will say that for me, the $150, it seems worth it. Normally I go to this place called Hagersville Mud Road, and that's a nice run. It's about a 10-kilometer journey or so. But these guys have a lot more trails, and I have seen a bunch of the summer videos. So I know that as you're watching me rip like this right now, that's not what it's going to be like in summer. I imagine some of it will be. Some of it's nice flat ground, and you're going to have some forest runs. As we go through this journey, you're actually going to get to see. If you want, actually, I'm going to pause the video right here, and I'm going to show you a quick thumbnail of the map layout, and then I'll explain. The second picture is going to be showing where we are. At some point, we're going to cross over a bridge. You guys will see it. We're going to cross over a highway. So that's us accessing part that is not part of the club. So I just want to make that clear that that is us probably out trespassing onto something else. I don't know. It seems like there's some development going on, so they've lost some of their club land. But anyway, so I just want to mention that so that once you look at the thumbnail for the two things, you'll see. And also I'll mention that the thumbnails that I'm about to bring up are going to be done with the Polaris app. So I'm driving the Polaris RZR. I have a Polaris snowmobile as well. Actually, I've got two. But you don't have to have a Polaris to get and utilize the app. You can just download it, and it shows you trail maps. So if you had a cell phone holder, you can actually have the maps open on your phone. And then it'll show you where the parking is, picnic areas, launch gas, whatever you need. It's all on the map. So it's a pretty cool app to have. My side-by-side here does have the Polaris command screen installed, so I actually have the maps and stuff on my display there. I didn't really touch it. I don't care. Although I could see, like, you know, I think it's called the breadcrumbs of where I've been. So let me get that thumbnail up of or whatever, the picture of the trail system, just so you know what we're on, and I'll be right back. Okay, here we are. So that is what the Polaris app looks like with the maps, and I didn't really zoom in there. And there's a little highway we're going to cross over. So just wanted to mention that. If you don't have the app, go ahead, grab it. Now I'll tell you a little bit about my machine here. So it's got 30-inch moto slayers, and then it's got some, like, I don't know, it seems to me that it's got high clearance A-arms, but not like the super ATV ones. Because when I look online, the ones that are for this originally are straight. These have a little bend in them for the front A-arms. So I think, as far as I can tell from the guy that I bought it from, he said it's got about a 3-inch lift off of stock. So I have about 16.5 inches of clearance in the center. So I'm pretty happy with that. I also have done a video where I figured out how to get turn signals installed, because here in Canada, sometimes if you want to go on the road up north particularly, you're supposed to have turn signals. You're supposed to have like a street legal kit, so turn signals and the horn and lights and all that. So I went ahead and did that. If that interests you, be sure to check out that video. The side-by-side came equipped with that sound bar above, like a little 2-speaker ATV stereo thing that's Bluetooth. Sounds pretty good. I actually had it cranking in part of the video, so I'm probably going to get a copyright strike or some shit, but I don't really care. Anyway, so what happened was, I've got that, and the problem with it, I'll tell you, is that there's no volume control on it. So that thing's like $200 or $300 on Amazon, whatever it was. I didn't buy it, it came with the machine. But if you say you're listening to some tunes and then you want to turn it down or turn it up, you actually have to pull your phone out and do the volume on your phone. So even though it sounds decent, it's kind of a pain in the ass, especially come summertime when the windows are off and you got mud all over you. You're probably not going to want to do that. Anyway, I had decided that I have bought quite a bit of stuff from a brand called Chemimoto. If you haven't heard of them, they're basically a brand that makes all kinds of various crap. If you see the bags on the doors there, Those are Kemimoto bags. They make ATV belts, so I've bought their belts. That windshield wiper might be a Kemimoto. Anyway, I've been buying stuff off them for years. And so the other day I decided to shoot them an email and say, hey, listen, long-time customer, I was wondering, I make YouTube videos for fun, if you guys would ever want me to review a product for you. Honestly, and obviously it'll be an honest review. Anyway, they ended up getting back to me and saying yes, that they would be more than happy to do that. And they've offered to send me their new, I think it's called Nighttime 70 or something, sound bar. And so it can be controlled either by your phone or the buttons on board. So anyway, they're sending that out to me to do an unboxing and setup and review, and I'm actually really excited about that because like I said, it works out well. This one's a bit of a pain in the ass because, you know, every time you stop and you want to talk to people, well, you got to pull your phone out. And so anyway, hopefully you guys understand what I mean. So that's going to be something that's coming to the channel, and then hopefully they'll want me to review some other stuff, because I'd have no problem doing it. And I don't need to get paid to review, just like, you know, I was like, even if they give me a discount on something, that'd be cool. But even if not, I do little reviews every now and then just for random shit that I buy. I thought about doing one on those bags because I'm actually happy with those. They bolted right on the way they're supposed to. The front pocket is actually knee support. You could take the padding out, and anyway, maybe I'll do a little review video, do them a solid, even though I paid for them, do them a nice little review because I do like the bags. And I'm one of those people that I do a lot of, like, you know, the reviews on Amazon and Google restaurants and shit like that. If I like your product or your service, I'll normally try to take the time to review it for you, to try to help businesses grow, right? Because especially in hobbies such as like ATVing and stuff like that, word of mouth is the best advertising, because I'm going to trust more from a fellow ATV rider or side-by-side rider or whatever than I am from a Vine purchase on Amazon. So hopefully people will trust what I say as I trust, like, you know, other YouTubers when it's somebody's personal account like mine, like not just a review channel, but an actual person that's using the product. Because I'm telling you, if I tell you that I like the product, it's because I actually like the product. So the Kemimoto turn signals, I did that video just because I actually like the product. It's got good reviews, but it's a solid product, and it gave me turn signals on a side-by-side that wasn't supposed to have it. Anyway, I guess there's not a whole lot else to say. I am going to get stuck a couple of times in this video. You'll see later on, just as a heads up towards the end of the video, we're going to try to go across some ice, and it didn't go well. It's kind of funny, other than the fact that that was the end of our day because our boots filled with water. I don't know how deep the water was exactly. You'll see later on though that the front 30-inch tires were submerged below water. So the water was a minimum of 30 inches deep because, well, we were below water all the way on the tires. So probably like 36 inches deep, which is not crazy deep, but when you're in there and you're trying to fight the ice, like it's got like 2-inch thick ice that broke. So then the front and rear bumpers are getting hung up on the ice. And anyway, so that part kind of, it's fun, it's all part of the game, but it kind of sucks because then I'm getting nervous. Last year on my Z-Force 1000, I ended up busting my steering rack and burning out my belt, fighting a very similar situation where instead of just getting out and using the winch, I decided that I was going to fight my way out. And you know, on these machines it's possible to fight your way out, but it's also possible in the cold, you know what I mean, that you're gonna break something. So in today's thing, I think I fight it for, you know, 4 or 5 minutes before finally saying, you know what, I better just get out and winch it out. And that was actually my first real test of the winch though, by the way. Like, I bought this thing and I did use the winch to lift an engine into my Z-Force. Kind of a funny thing, I had a hook, I put a pulley on my ceiling of my garage and used it to do that, so I knew the winch worked. But if you ride ATV or anything, you'll know that just working doesn't mean actual power. Like, it's one thing to lift a 200-pound engine. It's another to pull, you know, 1,000 or 1,200 pound or whatever this thing weighs. ATV or side-by-side out of, you know, a 36-inch deep mud pit trapped in with ice. Those are two different workings. So anyway, this was my first time actually using the winch in a real scenario, and it worked perfectly. So I also do keep in the box, I have a manual come along from Amazon. I advise that if you are side-by-siding or ATVing, especially if you're out alone, and even if you have a snowmobile and you have a spot to tuck it in there in a bag or something, it's a good idea. So it's only got about a 3-foot draw, which means it'll only pull about 3 feet. But it's mechanical, so even if your winch wouldn't work, this one it's got a lever arm that you pull, and it's geared small, so it's easy enough to crank on. You just bring your rope and you use that, and you know, you might have to reset it a few times to get out of whatever mess you're in, but I highly recommend keeping a manual come along in your accessory kit. But anyway, I'm going to jump off. I'm going to let you guys just enjoy the rest of the video. Hopefully you do. Hopefully my rambling didn't ruin the video. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. If you have a comment either way, just go ahead and leave it in the comment section below so I know. Ultimately, I have fun making videos, but I also have fun seeing that people enjoy my videos. But I also have fun having when people hate my videos, because that's kind of fun to read those comments too, I guess. I don't really care, right? It's all fun for me. I'm not an actual like YouTuber counting on this as a way to make a living or anything, so it's all just good, clean fun. And I really appreciate you guys watching to this point if you did, and hopefully you'll enjoy the rest of the ride. And I don't know, if you happen to be local out there, maybe I'll see you out on the trails. You know what my machine looks for. Don't be shy, say hi. See you guys. it, Emma.
It smells like it's an ice problem. Before you pull it out, can I grab my phone? I don't want it to. I need to grab my phone before you do this.